The appeal of 300 university professors against the Green Pass. The famous historian Barbero also signs the appeal of 300 university professors against the Green Pass and says it is a hypocritical measure by the government. The situation in our report.
The manifesto of several hundred professors who dispute that there is no full assumption of responsibility by the political decision maker is online. It involves obvious risks, especially if it were to be extended beyond the 31st of December, bringing to mind other historical precedents than ever we would have liked to retrace, said the famous Professor Alessandro Barbero. The historian and popularizer said, "If they introduced the vaccination obligation I would have nothing to say, but the Green Pass is a subterfuge." In 300 signed, from the faculties of engineering, law, mathematics, even medicine, and the historian Alessandro Barbero, the most illustrious of the signatories. The appeal signed by hundreds of professors from Italian universities rejects the Green Pass, calling it an anti-constitutional and discriminatory measure. It divides Italian society into Serie A citizens, who continue to enjoy their rights, and Serie B citizens, who see fundamental rights compressed, write the professors who are added to the contrary positions taken by the philosophers Massimo Cacciari and Giorgio Agamben. Barbero, professor of medieval history in a debate organized by the CGIL, defined the measure as hypocritical. "It is one thing to say, gentlemen, we have decided that the vaccine is mandatory because it is necessary. I would have nothing to say about this," he explained. "Another thing is to say that the vaccine is really needed, but people are induced to do it with subterfuges. A very different nuance from that of the promoters, however. We are against the obligation to vaccinate, and against the Green Pass precisely because it introduces the obligation in a surreptitious form," told Paolo Gibilisco, professor of mathematics at the University of Tor Vergata. The professor, opposed to compulsory even for health professionals, nevertheless stressed that many of the signatories are already vaccinated and do not have positions against the vaccine. "We are not no-vaxxers, also because no-vaxxers do not exist. There are people who have legitimate doubts. COVID vaccines are not Euclidean axioms that have been in use for 2,000 years. We know the reactions after 6 months, but in the long run we know little or nothing." The manifesto denies that there is no full assumption of responsibility by the political decision maker. A decision in the face of which teachers believe that everyone's freedom of choice should be preserved and equal inclusion, in all its forms, should be encouraged. In the current situation, however, they argue, either you suffer the Green Pass, or you are excluded from the possibility of attending university classrooms and, in the case of teachers, you are suspended from teaching. All this violates those rights of study and training, which are guaranteed by the Constitution, and represents a dangerous precedent. The hope of the professors is that a serious political debate will start, in society and in the academic world, to avoid any penalization of specific categories of people based on their personal choices and their convictions, to guarantee the right to study and research and universal access, non-discriminatory and free of additional charges which are in fact discriminatory to university services.